Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, December 7th, 2015. 74 years ago today, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. There are commemorative ceremonies at Pearl Harbor today for an ever-dwindling group of World War II Pearl Harbor survivors who will be on hand. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. Some big news coming out of London. Peter Scales and John Lynch, respectively, the CEO and Chief Financial Officer of Lancashire Lloyd's managing agent Cathedral Capital, have been dismissed. The two executives are understood to have been released from their positions last week, and sources have indicated that other staff may follow suit. Cathedral is now fully integrated into Lancashire. Scales, Lynch, and active underwriter for syndicates 2010 and 3010, John Hamblin, are listed as members of the group's executive management team. They're holdovers from Cathedral. Sources have suggested that alignment of the distinct underwriting cultures in the respective organizations have been problematic. The acquisition back in 2013 by Lancashire for £266 million has always been curious. Lancashire had built its reputation on being a small, fast-moving carrier committed to handing excess capital back to shareholders rather than increasing book value. Cathedral has been a traditional Lloyd's syndicate and in fact has expanded overall since the acquisition to increase its combined capacity up to about £406 million by about 7% increase. A very big earthquake, about 7.2 on the Richter scale, struck Tajikistan earlier today, shook buildings as far away as the Indian capital of New Delhi and in the Punjab region of Pakistan. According to the Tajik Emergency Committee, there has been no information so far on any casualties. Russian military bases in Tajikistan were unaffected. The quake had been felt in the capital, and they're still doing damage assessments. In northwest England yesterday, the army was deployed in order to try to rescue thousands of people who had been inundated by a storm. The storm has been named Storm Desmond. Thousands of homes and businesses were affected by heavy rains and strong winds that battered Britain over the weekend. David Cameron is expected to visit the area today. Most of the electricity has been turned back on in the area. In Beijing, for the first time ever, readings of air pollution particles have now forced the government of Beijing to issue a red alert warning. This means that schools are going to be closed and non-essential personnel have been ordered to stay home. Drivers are going to be forced to ration their driving to every other day depending upon the numbers on the license plates. The readings of the particulate emissions have been higher in the past, but a red alert can only be ordered if the government expects these high readings to persist for a 3-day period. The government, in fact, does expect these readings to persist for a 3-day period. The smog in Beijing is so bad that it can be seen from the International Space Station. An oil rig explosion in the Caspian Sea in Russia has killed at least one person. Actually, it's no longer Russia, it's the state of Azerbaijan. At least 29 are missing. The platform is operated by SOCAR, the state oil company of Azerbaijan. The president of Azerbaijan has declared a day of mourning yesterday for those who died in the incident on platform number 10 in the Gunashi oil field. Our cargo ship is being towed to port in Southampton, England today after it began to take on water and started to sink in the English Channel. The ship, the EMS Majestic, is registered in Antigua and Barbados, issued a mayday call from its position in the Dover Straits just after 7 p.m. last night. A number of ships in the area responded, as did the British Coast Guard. 2 of the ship's crew of 7 were airlifted to land for safety reasons. The 300-foot-long cargo ship is now under tow, being brought into Southampton by a large industrial tug called the Thor Frigg. Last night at 8 p.m., President Obama made a national address to the United States from the Oval Office. Only the 3rd time in his presidency he has addressed the country from the Oval Office. He discussed ISIS. He discussed the government's plans to combat ISIS. He assured Americans that everything is being done to keep them safe and that, in fact, the United States and its allies will prevail over ISIS. Also last night, U2 played in Paris. in a concert that had been scheduled immediately after the Paris terror attacks. The band played in front of a French tricolor flag, and the names of those killed in the Paris attacks were listed behind the band as they played. That is the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.